Part 29. The Age of Rebirth, the fake daughter relies on cultivation to become bigger and stronger. Author, Laughing Charm. Chapter 281. Yunyun, Shen Chen rubbed his hands and said sheepishly, you won't say that we are not doing our jobs properly, right? I know, what's wrong with this? Just think of it as going out to practice. Anyway, just don't forget to practice, Shen Yun said naturally. When the three of them heard what Shen Yun said, they looked at each other and immediately became happy. They took the jade slip and said happily, then let's go. We will look at what you gave us. In the next few days, several people continued to go out early and come back late. The little one jumped like a phoenix and seemed to be enjoying this matter. In order to keep up with the two of them, they stopped coming to Shen Yun's room to sleep and followed Shen Hong when they came back. Together, the three of us don't know how happy we are. Shen Yun and Shen Hong were also in a good mood. In the past few days, several people had brought back a lot of things. There was someone at home. Shen Yun took advantage of the rest of the family not paying attention and got some into his own space. The remaining spiritual plants were all planted in the small yard, and Shen Yun specially arranged a spirit gathering array. Then he had to cast spells and pour spiritual rain on these spiritual plants every day. Shen Yun did this on the first day, and then he was taken over by Shen Hong, who took the initiative. Shen Jian was the only one idle at home, and could only spend all day in the yard. Practice using Reiki with concentration. A few days passed quickly, and it was already the date of the auction. The 6 people were neatly dressed. The auction started at 10 o'clock. Participants were invited to have a meal at noon. A few people packed up and went out directly. Shen Jian can walk normally after these few days of exercise. So today's lineup is very neat, even the little bouncing baby like a little baby still has to be held. The auction place today is the largest newly built hotel in Beijing. When a few people arrived, there were already a lot of customers, and there were cars parked in front of the door. This was a strange sight. After all, not many people have cars these days. The fact that so many people gathered in this place today shows how much everyone attaches importance to today's auction. As people in suits and ties walked in, the 6 of them, Shen Yun and the others, seemed a bit out of place. They seemed to be here for a high-end banquet, and they seemed to be here for a wedding banquet. The people next to him gave him slightly confused and disdainful looks. Yun, aren't our clothes a bit inappropriate? Shen Chen was looked at and uncomfortably tugged at his clothes. There's nothing inappropriate. We just don't have money. We don't have to hide it. Besides, we can't get used to wearing clothes like that. Shen Yun didn't feel anything at all. He just came here to look at his things today. What price can it be sold for? Do you have to spend all your money to buy a set of clothes that you won't wear normally just for this matter? If you have that time, you might as well practice more. When you become stronger, even if you wear beggar clothes, no one will wear them. Dare to take a small look. As Shen Yun spoke, his aura was released a little. As expected, the few people here immediately looked away. Look, if you practice hard, you will be better than anything else, Shen Yun whispered to a few people next to him. A few people nodded. Only Xiao Banqi didn't care about this matter and was looking around curiously. Walking to the door and handing over the invitation, the vaguely sizing eyes around him immediately turned away. After all, he was free to dress freely. Shen Yun's own aura was enough. After a long period of practice, Shen Chen and the others had their own aura, and they didn't even look at it. Like ordinary people. Maybe people like to wear clothes like this and feel comfortable at home. How come any poor guy can come to this place? How are you doing this auction? Is the Zhang family not doing well? It really lowers our standards. A sharp voice came from behind, which sounded familiar. Who is this? Such unqualified people, so many people, these words are really unpleasant. Shen Hong, who was next to him, was feeling sensitive at the moment. Hearing someone say this from behind, he immediately turned around and saw an arrogant person. The angry woman is talking. Although it is not easy to argue, it does not prevent him from complaining to his family. "Hey, country bumpkin in front, what are you talking about? You are dressed like this, and you still have the nerve to say that others are incompetent. I think it is you who are incompetent. You don't know that you have to wear formal clothes to participate in the auction." The woman behind has pointed ears. Shen Hong's voice was not loud, but it was still heard by the people behind, so the entire hotel lobby heard the girl walking quickly in this direction on high heels, and the words she said were not low. Shen Yun originally wanted to send the lot over quickly and didn't want to talk to the person behind him. Unexpectedly, this person was still as arrogant, and he immediately caught up and scolded him. "Who stipulates that you must wear formal attire to participate in the auction, and who stipulates that you must wear formal attire?" Shen Yun turned around and asked. "It's you." When Shen Yun turned around, the girl behind him saw Shen Yun's face clearly, and her face suddenly turned ugly. "Mom and Dad, this is the vixen between you and me. We haven't found her in the past few days. Who would have thought that we met today? You must make the decision for me and drive this woman out. She wants to compete with me for Brother Yan. With me or without her." Li Ai turned to complain to the middle-aged man and woman behind him who had benefited from the care. "Oh, so it's this girl." The man glanced at Shen Yun and paused. This girl was really good looking, and he couldn't help but feel a little admiration in his eyes. The woman next to her was very sensitive to the man's attitude. After hearing the other person's tone and looking at the other person's eyes, she immediately took the man's arm with her hand and said, "She really looks like a vixen. I advise you to give up seducing Yan Han as soon as possible. The idea is that a little sparrow like you can't marry into a family like theirs," the woman said with disdain. As expected of a mother and daughter, their speech and gestures are exactly the same. Shen Yun glanced at them. Neither of them looked like good people. Li Ming was so unlucky to have such a biological father and stepmother. It's as if your daughter has already been recognized by the Yan family. "I'm not like your daughter who expects a man to rise to power." Shen Yun's tone was slightly sarcastic. This sentence immediately stung the two women's feelings hard. The quarrel between a few people also attracted the attention of the people nearby. Anyway, it is still some time before the auction starts, so why not watch the excitement here? That will happen sooner or later, Li Ai said, unconvinced. "I've never seen such a thick-skinned girl." The man didn't recognize her, so she pretended to be her fiancée. "I personally asked Minister Yan, and he said he didn't have a fiancée at all." "I don't think so. I'm a little sparrow who wants to climb a high tree, but some people take themselves too seriously. Since there was a quarrel, there was no need to worry about face." After all, he had already said hello to Li Ming, and Shen Yun directly poked at the other person's pain points. "Anyway, there weren't many people I knew in the hall, but there were quite a few people who knew each other. As soon as I said it, they started discussing it quietly next to them." The Age of Rebirth, the fake daughter relies on cultivation to become bigger and stronger. Author, Laughing Charm. Chapter 282. The Li family is getting more and more unreliable. Don't you know who are the people participating in the auction? Let a girl talk nonsense here. If the Yan family comes out to clarify, it will probably be humiliated and sent abroad. The person next to him said softly. "No, my son doesn't care about it, but he treats this daughter who doesn't know who it is as a treasure. The Li family needs to think carefully about cooperation in the future." The head of the family is a bit out of tune. The people who agreed followed directly. "That's right, you still criticize other people's clothes? Anyone with a brain can see that these people are not simple. The aura of this girl is dazzling to me. This woman actually dislikes other people's clothes and calls her a vixen. Sure enough, in this world, You should respect Luo Shang first before respecting others. This is a person who sees it more clearly. Shen Yun heard clearly there, which showed that most people were still clear-headed. We are all reputable families. If my Liai hadn't been recognized by the Yan family, we wouldn't have been able to talk about this in public. After all, although the Yan family is very strong and our family is not bad, my son is still cold. Everyone is unclear about this matter. It's also our fault that we wanted to keep a low profile and didn't hold an engagement ceremony. When Yan Han is free, we will definitely invite everyone over for a drink and witness it. Li Ming's father is very rational. He doesn't care about the face of Shen Yun, a person he has never heard of or seen, but the people around him already have opinions about their Li family. Although this girl is very good looking, it cannot harm the reputation of his family. In order to prevent others from seeing her, the person who said it went even further. He directly stated this matter. As for whether the Yan family is willing to do it or not, it can be easily explained here. It is common for a man to marry a woman. Times have changed and children may disagree. When the time comes, we can just find an excuse and everything will be solved. Isn't that what marriage is all about? If you get along, you'll continue. If you don't get along, you'll separate. So that's what happened. Boss Li did everything well regardless of whether the people next to him believed it or not. They all responded with respect. As for most of their inner thoughts, of course I hope this is just nonsense from Li Jiashun, otherwise the two of them would, when families are married, they become a powerful force. As for Shen Yun, she definitely didn't believe it. Since Yan Han had already said that he didn't have a fiancé, it must be true. After all, this was not something hidden. The only one in the audience who wholeheartedly believed that this matter was true was Li Ai. When she heard Li Kun say this, a big smile suddenly appeared on her face and she glanced at Shen Yun proudly. You were so arrogant just now, why didn't you say it again? Let me tell you, you don't belong in a place like this. You should go home as a bumpkin. The capital city is not in your small village, Li Ai said proudly. Said. I didn't know that the distinguished guest I invited shouldn't be here. A man walked over quickly from behind and said in a serious tone. Everyone saw the person in charge of the Zhang family's auction house walking over quickly with an angry look on his face. Listening to the meaning of his words, they couldn't help but be a little surprised that these people were actually distinguished guests invited by the Zhang family. Mr. Zhang, everyone was thinking in their hearts, but that didn't stop them from saying hello to Zhang Han. The Zhang family is not like any other family. Although their family is headed by the boss of the Zhang family, the other brothers are also very powerful, and the whole family is here to help each other. No one dares to underestimate that one. Zhang Han nodded to everyone. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to attend the auction. It's getting late. Please go in and take a seat. I will apologize to you at noon. As soon as the onlookers heard this, they knew what the other party meant. They all said some kind words and walked towards the auction house wisely. Are you okay? Zhang Han glanced at the Li family opposite and asked Shen Yun and the others carefully. It's okay, I just took up a little time for you. Sorry. Shen Yun was a little apologetic, saying that it was sent before the auction, but he wasted a little time here, and the auction was about to start. It's okay, we'll arrange it later anyway, don't delay. Don't worry, Zhang Han said soothingly. As long as it doesn't delay things. Zhang Han, what do you mean? Don't you take our old Li seriously? Li Ama cared about Shen Yun when she saw Zhang Han coming over, and immediately felt unhappy. She is indeed a vixen, and she didn't know this face. How many men have been seduced? A junior, because of this vixen, did not even say hello to his own family. Old Li, this is because he does not take his own family seriously, and the Zhang family thinks very highly of themselves. Okay, didn't you see that nephew Zhang Xian is busy? There is no need to pay attention to these falsehoods. The relationship between the two families is here. Li Kun was very satisfied with his wife's reminder, but the Zhang family's face had to be given. Mr. Li, I have heard what your family did just now. Since you look down on my distinguished guests, you are looking down on our Zhang family. We, the Zhang family, forgive us for not welcoming you. Please go back. Zhang Han didn't quarrel with others. Inform these people directly of the news. You, how dare you, our Li family is not a nobody. Before Li Kun could do anything, the woman standing next to him couldn't bear it anymore. Since she married Li Kun, when had she ever suffered such grievances? If he drives his family out in front of everyone, then what dignity will he have to live in the capital socially? Even if your family has tremendous power, I'm sorry, but this has nothing to do with our Zhang family. Not only are the Li family not welcome at today's auction, but the three of you will not be welcome at any Zhang family occasion in the future, please, Zhang Han said calmly. He said with a serious face. Zhang Han, you really want to do things so absolutely? Li Kun's face turned completely dark after listening to Zhang Han's words. Dad, what does the Zhang family have? There are so many small auctions. If you don't participate, you won't participate. I feel sick being with such people. Let's go. We won't come if they beg us in the future. Li Ai was very angry with Zhang Han's attitude towards protecting Shen Yun and the others, and even chasing his family away for these bumpkins. It was indeed blind. The Zhang family wasn't that powerful, she just looked like that. In that case, let's go. Li Kun listened to Li Ai's words and found a step for himself. Looking at the two women next to him who were not very smart and liked to cause trouble, Li Kun couldn't help but regret why he brought them here today. It seemed that not only had he offended Zhang Han, but also the Zhang family. He had to go back and investigate what had just happened. Where did those people come from? His ability to make his business so big depends not only on luck. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Age of Rebirth, the fake daughter relies on cultivation to become bigger and stronger. Author, Laughing Charm. Chapter 283. The few people didn't know what Li Kun was thinking. They watched the person leave and turned around to thank Zhang Han. You're welcome, don't worry about the Li family's affairs, I will handle the follow-up matters, Zhang Han promised. Thank you so much. Li Ming and I are old acquaintances. I didn't expect his family to be like this. It's really nothing like them, Shen Yun said with a smile. The circle is not far away. As soon as Shen Yun mentioned Li Ming, Zhang Han knew who it was. Speaking of this, he also sympathized with Li Ming for a second. He was such an unlucky child. He was unable to return home due to these three people. Let's go, the auction is about to start. Zhang Han turned around and invited a few people. Shen Yun and the others followed Zhang Han and walked in. Zhang Han arranged for someone to take Shen Chen and the others to sit down first, while Shen Yun followed to the auction backstage and handed several mysterious items to Zhang Han. This is a storage bag. It has not been identified as the owner yet, but the spiritual sense can be used. If someone takes it back, it is recommended to shed blood to identify the owner, so that other people's spiritual sense cannot control the storage bag. Shen Yun put the storage bag away. He took it out first, and then took out 2 elixirs directly from it, both of which were packed in glass bottles. It is best to use jade bottles for this, but the number of jade bottles in my hand is limited, so I can only use glass bottles. If you take it back, take it as soon as possible, because the glass bottle does not have the same effect as the jade bottle, and the effect of the medicine will disappear over time, unless it is replaced with a jade bottle. By the way, these 2 medicines do exactly what the names say, and there is no doubt about their effectiveness. Chen Yun said carefully. Okay, I'll take the things, and I'll ask someone to take you to the front to sit down. There are a lot of things today. If there is anything you like, You can try taking pictures, Zhang Han said politely. He looked at Shen Yun and nodded, then I won't give it to you. These things on your body are very valuable. Let my assistant take you there. Okay, sorry for the trouble, Shen Yun responded. He was brought directly to Shen Chen and the others. Shen Yun thanked his assistant before sitting over. This auction is a small space cut by screens. Unless you stand up and move around, you can't see what's next to you. Human, this is beneficial to the auctioneer, and the price of the item will be higher. There were a lot of people here today, including cultivators. As soon as Shen Yun sat down, he felt a few rays of spiritual consciousness sweep over him. Although Shen Yun didn't care, Xiao Bengqiao was not used to these people's bad habits and directly sent his spiritual consciousness to him. Blocked it out, and then the tyrannical consciousness swept across the entire venue. There were several exclamations in an instant. Then those people who just swept the consciousness were so scared that they did not dare to fart. As for those who did not move, this time don't even dare to make any small moves. None of them expected that a person with such a strong cultivation level would come to this venue, and their expectations for this auction were even higher. Xiao Banqi looked at everyone becoming quiet and honest, and raised his little chin proudly. You are the most powerful, and you have done a good job, but from now on we should keep a low profile and not let others know our true strength. Shen Yun touched Xiao Bengqiao's head and said. Okay, don't worry. I will be more stable in the future so that others don't see my true strength, Xiao Banqi responded simply. Shen Yun looked at his chubby little face and wondered if he was more than 1 year old. Under what circumstances can a doll feel stable? It's really a difficult problem. Let him consider this himself. Without a few words of gossip, the host of the auction came on stage. The pace was fast, and after a few words of welcome, the auction began. The first part is jewelry, which is also a popular area. There are many ladies here today, so this is a good place to go. The items on the auction block are all beautiful and exquisite jewelry, and there are quite a few people bidding on them. Shen Yun is participating in such an event for the first time. She hasn't found anything she likes yet, so she just sits there. Watch the excitement from the side. Yun Yun, take a look at these jewelry, do you like anything? Shen Chen flipped through the auction list in his hand and asked tentatively. No, why, you want to buy a gift for your sister-in-law. You should also buy some gifts. It will not be easy to take care of the old and the young at home this year. Shen Yun thought about it seriously, and this is indeed what he should do. No, I'll just ask, Shen Chen said with a smile, but he recorded what Shen Yun just said in his heart. Thinking about the balance in his pocket, he could only look at the items on the auction list more carefully. The prices are not expensive. If you want to take a photo of something, you can only afford it unless it is at the lowest price. If it is more expensive, you can't afford it. Thinking of this, Shen Chen, Shen Heng and Xiao Banqi on the side looked at each other. I want to take a look. Xiao Banqi pointed at the auction list and said. Shen Chen directly handed the things over. Although the kid Xiao Banqi was young, his intuition was really accurate. The money they made these days was all thanks to this kid who led them to find good things. Xiao Banqi flipped through the exquisite auction list, quickly flipping through the exquisite and simple jewelry, and directly turned to the last page of jewelry. Pointing to a low-priced stone, he said, This, I like this. Shen Chen and Shen Heng knew what he meant. They immediately looked over and saw that the last page was a rough stone auction, and the one pointed by Xiao Bengqiao was a stone that looked like a big winter melon, with black patches on the outside. Wow, it's ugly to look at. But Shen Chen and Shen Heng looked at the other stones on the page. This stone was a bit ugly, but it was really special. The key point is that this is really cheap. At this high-end auction, the base price is only 100 yuan. If no one raises the price, then they can take it and the remaining money can buy some other jewelry for the women at home. The two looked at each other, rubbed the little bouncing head and said, I'll listen to you just this once. Brothers Shenhong next to them didn't know what the riddles these three people were playing, but from what they meant, it seemed that they wanted to buy something. Shenhong quietly took out the money he had saved and handed it to Shen Chen. I'll collect some money for you and see if you can take a picture, Shenhong said in a low voice. Thank you, Shen Chen did not refuse. Brother, you want to take pictures? If you want to buy things for your sister-in-law and the others, I suggest you buy something practical. Even if you buy these things back, there will be no place to wear them. Shen Yun glanced at Jin Fengchai, who was taking pictures, and said, Okay, I'll write it down with the goal in mind. Shen Chen didn't stand still at this moment and just agreed. The auction above continued. Shen Yun and the others watched the auction above intently. Listening to the bidding sounds next to them, they couldn't help but feel a little hot. Their things should be able to sell for a good price today. After the fine jewelry has been auctioned, it is time to enter the rough stone auction. This link does not exist in the first place, but the rough stone is also a part of the jewelry, so this link is natural. The auctioneer above was very talkative, and soon the place became lively, and everyone was looking forward to the rough stone. The age of rebirth, the fake daughter relies on cultivation to become bigger and stronger. Author, Laughing Charm. Chapter 284. Pieces of stones were auctioned for hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands. The people who came here today are all wealthy people. In addition, these rough stones are very large. If there is jade in the picture, the profit will be doubled many times. However, this situation is all about the stones that perform well, and those that perform poorly may even fail to be auctioned. When the stone that Shen Chen was interested in was brought up, the people below were no longer interested in seeing the appearance. Even if jade could be found inside, the quality would not be good. The black fog outside was serious. Who knew what was inside? Yes, so when the auctioneer announced the reserve price, there was no one shouting out the price. After all, no matter how much money there is, it is not brought by the strong wind, it is earned one by one. Shen Chen waited for a while and saw that no one was bidding, so he was about to prepare a bid. Then he shouted and added $1 to the base price, for a total of 101, and successfully bought the stone. But no one is envious, after all, everyone does not think highly of this stone. Only the auctioneer is happy. After all, selling things shows that his ability is not bad. The next step is the antiques part. Shen Yun can understand this part, and it is much more interesting than the previous part. After all, it can be regarded as a professional counterpart. Why are you taking these plates and jars back? As a child from the countryside, Shen Hong now really doesn't understand why these people spend so much money to buy these things, and they are reluctant to use them after they are bought. I'm still afraid of it being broken, and even more afraid of being stolen. We don't understand the lives of rich people. People buy them and keep beautiful ones. Placing them there is a symbol of status. Shen Yun explained that when she was in Beijing, she also saw some families displaying some antique utensils. Not to mention how rich it is just kept for decoration. Okay, Shen Hong said he understood. The Shen family also followed the antiques to watch the excitement. Listening to the lively bidding outside, everyone couldn't help but gasp. Hundreds of thousands of dollars seemed to be nothing in the eyes of these people. You must know that the salary of ordinary people outside is only a few hundred yuan now. Even if Shen Chen shoots, he only dared to shoot a stone because he had made some money recently and would have a way to make money in the future. If he had beaten him to death before, he would never have thought that one day he would shoot a stone. The Shen family members were just watching the excitement. After the antique auction, it was time for the lunch banquet. The arcs of light intertwined and people came and went. It was like a social vanity fair. Shen Yun and the others seemed even more out of place, but they had no intention of blending in. They found a table in a corner and directly took some food. While a few people were eating, a cultivator who knew Shen Yun came over to say hello. Your place is so clean, I can't even say it. My family insisted on letting me come over. Liang Shan was dressed formally. When he saw someone coming over to say hello, he noticed this place. After a quick look, he realized that the Shen family's siblings were also here. When he came over, he looked at the man next to him who was complimenting him with a fake smile, and quickly found an excuse to come over. I didn't expect you to come here too, maybe all the supervisors are here. Shen Yun looked around and saw no one else. No way, my family asked me to come here. It just so happens that there are a lot of people here today and they need supervision. I came here with a mission, but if you knew you were coming, I wouldn't come. I'm tired of this kind of socializing, Liang Shan complained while taking a drink of water. Would you like something to eat? Shen Hong greeted politely. No, no, I'll eat. Liang Shan waved his hand. He knew that the banquet at noon was just for socializing, and he would definitely not be full. He had eaten a lot when he came here in the morning. He was not hungry at all, but just a little thirsty. If you don't go over to contact us, your family will definitely not want you to hide in a corner and watch the fun if they ask you to come over, Shen Yun joked with a smile. Hey, I don't care about the business at home. When I'm called here, my family likes to take me with them when they go out. Who knows that I'm young and they don't expect me to do social things. They just want to chat with people I know. Yes, Liang Shan waved his hand. By the way, why are you here? Do you have anything good to take pictures of? Liang Shan asked curiously. He had not forgotten that Shen Yun had no money to buy anything at the night market some time ago, so he came here now. Participating in the auction, it suddenly happened. Thinking of this, Liang Shan suddenly thought of another possibility. Don't you have anything to auction? Liang Shan asked in a low voice. Shen Yun nodded, confirming his suspicion. Oh, what is it, can you tell me? Liang Shan didn't care about the difference between men and women. He sat next to Shen Yun under the surprised looks of several men in the Shen family, and asked softly next to Shen Yun. Hey, you're sitting here. You can set up a barrier when you talk. Why are you so close? As the eldest brother, Shen Chen became unhappy before Shen Yun could speak. He stood up and the few people standing next to him directly pushed him away. Lifted to the seat next to him. I set up a barrier. If you have anything to say, you don't have to get so close. Shen Yun waved his hand and set up a barrier around him. People in the distance only saw the young man of the Liang family suddenly approaching the girl like a hooligan, and then being carried by the people next to the girl. This girl was also the protagonist of the farce. Outside the front door of the auction just started, and even more so. He was an honored guest invited by the Zhang family. Everyone had different expressions immediately. Some stood there and watched the excitement in silence, some wanted to buy it in front of Zhang Han, and some went to the Liang family. Shen Yun didn't pay attention to these. She was dealing with Liang Shan at this moment. Although Shen Yun didn't say what he took, the smart Liang Shan thought about the foundation building pill that night and his sister who had successfully built the foundation. I still had speculation in my mind. Chen Yun, this is because you are not interesting enough. Our Liang family is also very rich. Although there is no auction, we can afford the price for the things, but you only came here to find this kid Zhang Min. Liang Shan pretended to complain. Well, I didn't know that your family was rich before. After all, the Zhang family's reputation is a bit outside. If Zhang Min hadn't told me, I wouldn't have known that your family was rich. Shen Yun explained this matter. She really didn't know in advance, but even if she knew, she would be more likely to find something to auction, but it goes without saying. Really, I usually advise my family to keep a low profile, but now I'm at a disadvantage. No, I have to go talk to my family and prepare more money. I won't accompany you. Liang Shan said hello and got up. Walk. As a result, I turned around and saw Zhang Han with a dark face and his eldest brother with a serious expression walking towards the side. The atmosphere between the two of them seemed not to be right before. Could it be that they are starting to do it again? The age of rebirth, the fake daughter relies on cultivation to become bigger and stronger. Author, Laughing Charm. Chapter 285. Brother, what's wrong with you? Liang Shan was quite reliable. He didn't want to raise money now. Instead, he paid attention to his brother's health first. What's going on, brother? I'm not telling you, this is not how you chase a girl. In this hall, all other girls have to face each other. Besides, their family members are also here. You just get in front of this girl and do this. It's really inappropriate. If you like him, let's go out of this door and catch up with him sincerely, instead of relying on acting like a gangster to get to the top. Brother Liang looked at the silly brother who came over, and was really worried about the situation of Taishuhua. It's not very appropriate either. This guy, who is just a firefighter, approached someone's little girl in public, and was chased away by her family members. He really didn't see it. To be honest, if this wasn't his biological brother, I wouldn't have been able to come over. It was embarrassing. Ah! Liang Shan was a little confused when his elder brother came to him and muttered, "What's going on? Which little girl has he fallen in love with? Why are you acting like a hooligan? I have just inquired about some incredible news and want to come over to share it with him. Now that I have been told, how can I be so unjust?" Zhang Han on the other side didn't care what the two brothers were talking about, and walked directly towards Shen Yun and the others next to them. "Are you okay?" "It's okay. I was just talking to Liang Shan about something." "It's nothing. Don't worry." Shen Yun looked at the situation and estimated that the people outside couldn't hear them. He thought something had happened, so he directly said something to Zhang Han. "What, doesn't this cause a misunderstanding?" "It's okay, I'll arrange things later at noon. Please forgive me for the poor reception," Zhang Han said proactively. "You are busy with your business. We have nothing to do. Don't worry about us." Shen Yun was quite embarrassed because this matter was delaying others' time again. "Okay, since everything is fine, you can eat and drink well." Zhang Han did not stay here for long. After talking to Shen Yun, he walked to the middle of the hall and said hello to everyone, and then hurriedly walked towards the back. As for Liang Shan on the other side, he was still struggling to explain to his brother that he was not being a hooligan, but was just talking to people he knew. As for how it came to be like this, I can only say that these people's eyes were not very good, and he was afraid that his brother would not believe it. And pulled him over to say hello to Shen Yun, and then took the eldest brother and left the place quickly. The two brothers found a hidden place and talked about what they wanted to shoot. Shen Yun here was also more concerned about the afternoon auction. After dinner, he didn't stay here for too long and went directly back to where he sat in the morning. After the luncheon, there will be an auction in the afternoon. The auction brochure didn't say what was being auctioned in the afternoon, but the items left at the end of every Jiangjia auction were not simple items. Although they didn't know what they were, everyone was still very interested. Even many people who didn't take pictures in the morning came to take pictures in the afternoon. The auction started. The person who came up in the afternoon was no longer the auctioneer in the morning, but Zhang Han. The people below immediately began to discuss, "This is something good." Generally, things are auctioned by auctioneers. Only very rare things will be sold by Zhang Han himself. The interest of the people below was raised to the highest point. "Hello everyone, I'm Zhang Han. I believe everyone has been waiting for a long time. I won't show off. Now I will offer the first lot, 2 beauty pills." As soon as he finished speaking, someone came up from behind carrying something. Everyone discovered that this person was none other than the wife of the current head of the Zhang family. What kind of thing can work for this person? Everyone was surprised. This person was not a simple person. He had a very important position in the Zhang family. What on earth was this beauty elixir? Shen Yun cheered up when he saw his things being brought up. I believe everyone is very curious about this thing. To tell you the truth, I am too. If Zhang Han hadn't asked me to come over to help today, I really don't understand this thing. After all, I am old, how can I have children and husbands? I have so much time to learn about these new things, why not take the time to drink tea and do some beauty treatments? Sister-in-law Zhang is already in her 50s, and the traces of time are inevitable on her face, but her gentle voice and content. Still, the people listening above and below smiled knowingly. Of course, no one took this sentence seriously. After all, if a strong businesswoman wants to know something that she doesn't understand, it must mean that she is not interested. However, after a woman reaches the age of 50, her energy is indeed not as good as before. The people below feel the same way. Today, our troubled younger brother asked me to be an experimenter and show everyone the effects of this beauty pill. If it works, then he is honoring me. If it doesn't work, then I will be unlucky. Today's work was in vain, this is really a risky business, Sister Zhang continued to say with a smile. As soon as he said this, there was another burst of laughter. After all, not everyone can do a businesswoman who makes a loss. However, this also shows that the Zhang family attaches great importance to this beauty elixir. After Mrs. Zhang above had finished speaking, Zhang Han took out a pale white pill from the jade bottle. Anyone who was close could smell the fragrance. He suddenly felt that his whole condition was much better. Originally, people who were not very interested in this name suddenly became nervous. He watched helplessly as Mrs. Zhang took the pill from Zhang Han and took it without hesitation. After a while, sister-in-law Zhang felt something was wrong. Everyone, excuse me, I think I need to clean up. As they were talking, everyone felt that there was a lot of sweat on sister-in-law's face. For a moment, everyone thought that something had happened. However, sister-in-law Zhang, who noticed something was wrong, had already walked out with a calm expression. She went directly to the back to ask for a room and opened it to soak in the rain. As he started to rush up, the black substance that appeared on his body was directly washed away, and his slightly loose skin gradually became tighter. Originally, when I reached middle age, I became a little fatter and my flesh became looser, but slowly I found that my flesh became tighter. Although I didn't lose much weight, my whole condition changed drastically. Sister Zhang felt that my spirits have improved a lot. After washing for about 10 minutes, the things on my body completely disappeared. Putting on the clothes sent by her assistant, Mrs. Zhang couldn't help but stand in front of the mirror. When she saw the person inside, although she was prepared, she still took a breath. Haired up her hair, put on no makeup, and went straight to the auction stage without makeup. Although Zhang Han has been introducing this beauty elixir to the people below for the past 10 minutes, everyone's thoughts are still on Mrs. Zhang. At this moment, a young woman came onto the stage, and everyone became energetic. Could it be that something happened to Mrs. Zhang? Something went wrong at the Zhang family's auction today. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Age of Rebirth, the fake daughter relies on cultivation to become bigger and stronger. Author, Laughing Charm. Chapter 286. Chapter 286, 286, is getting more and more outrageous. Everyone, I'm sorry to keep you waiting for so long, the young woman said with a gentle smile. Her voice sounded a bit familiar. Everyone then focused their wandering thoughts on the woman who came up. What was going on? How could the Zhang family allow irrelevant people to go to the auction stage? Thinking like this, some people realized that something was wrong. These people were all older. After staring at the woman above, they realized that this face was a bit familiar. Thinking about what the other party just said, they couldn't help but gasp. The sound of, "Is this MRS Jiang?" someone finally asked hesitantly. Jiang Min next to him was also surprised to see his sister-in-law like this, but there were photos of his sister-in-law when she was young at home, so he recognized her at first sight. She quickly calmed down and made room for her sister-in-law, letting her stand in the center. At this moment, someone down below has noticed something is wrong. "You didn't expect me to be like this. In fact, I was shocked when I looked in the mirror just now. I believe there is no one in the world who wouldn't want this magical elixir. Not only will our competitors be everyone around me, I will also join the auction temporarily. After all, I have become younger, and my old Zhang also wants to let him experience it." MRS Zhang said generously from above, and the people below listened carefully. For MRS Zhang, the idea of bidding together was no surprise to anyone. The women and some men present were determined to win. Everyone doesn't want to experience the feeling of being young again. Even practitioners have some elders in their families who cannot practice. Then some people ask some questions. After the questions were clarified, the people below began to urge Zhang Han to start the auction, and MRS Zhang also sat on the stool prepared for her below. "Yun, this medicine is really miraculous. Can you practice it? It is a life-changing thing. If a person can only take one pill in his life, there would be no shortcomings. But for ordinary people, this shortcoming is it's not a shortcoming at all." Shen Hong became interested when he saw the elixir, which was something he was interested in. "If you are interested, you can go back and learn, but you have to wait until your strength rises to refine it." Shen Yun only said this, and Shen Hong knew what it meant as soon as he heard it. The Shen family brothers next to them knew that Shen Yun was powerful, but they were still surprised when they heard this. Only the little Banky didn't take it to heart and concentrated on eating the snacks on the table. After the little Banky turned into an adult, he was basically not picky about food. Shen Yun knew that the beauty elixir was very effective, but he didn't expect it to be so effective. However, considering the level of the beauty elixir, he could not refine it until he reached the golden elixir stage. This requirement was very high, so it would not be surprising if the effect was better. With a quick glance of his consciousness, he could hear the excited discussions among the women below. They were all discussing beauty elixirs. "It seems that this elixir is very popular. You can refine it more in the future. After all, although this elixir requires a high level, it's really not difficult to practice, and this will become a hot skill in the future." Shen Yun thought happily, and then heard Zhang Han quoted the reserve price above. The price was not high, and the bidding started at 1,000. As soon as the price was announced, people below were shouting out the price one after another. The price has been soaring, and the poor people in the Shen family were dumbfounded, heading directly towards 100,000 liters, and the trend has not stopped. "When will the price go up?" Shen Jian asked in a low voice. His views had been refreshed today. After sleeping for more than a year, is money so worthless? Just one pill. It can make people look younger. Why are so many people pursuing it? Think about it. When they were working in the south, around 100 a month was considered good. Who knows, just watch, I'm numb anyway. Shen Hong sat on the side and shared the pastries on the table with Xiao Banqi. Prices continued to rise, and finally started to slow down when they reached around 150,000. In the end, MRS Zhang bought it for 155,000 yuan. "Thank you all for your support. When my old Zhang is young, I will treat you all to a meal, and thank you." Sister-in-law Zhang stood up with a smile on her face and said to everyone present. Although everyone regretted not taking pictures of the beauty elixir, when MRS Zhang said this, they immediately felt a lot more comfortable. "Congratulations on your return to youth. When your Zhang Han gets such a good thing in the future, be sure to inform us in advance." Someone who is familiar with MRS Zhang hurriedly greeted her. Zhang Han responded repeatedly from above. Waiting for the crowd to calm down, Mrs. Zhang had already left the auction venue with her things. As for the auction, under the auspices of Zhang Han, the auction continued with the next item. The one below is the foundation establishment pill, and Zhang Han only asks someone to bring one to him. With the precedent of the beauty pill, everyone no longer had any doubts about this pill. After hearing the effects introduced by Zhang Han, everyone couldn't help but be reserved and urged Zhang Han to give the price. After all, this is something more powerful than the beauty pill. After getting this thing and improving your strength, after that, it won't be a problem to want anything. Even if you don't use it yourself, this thing can still attract talents. Since everyone is interested in this, I won't hold back. The starting price is 10,000. Anyone who is interested can bid. After Zhang Han finished speaking, there was an outcry immediately, and everyone was bound to win. The appearance is much more intense than when I just took the beauty pill. I think if these people weren't wearing formal clothes, they would probably start a fight on the spot. It's really enlightening. Think about the way a person toasts and chats intimately during lunch. At that time, they will know that they will wish that everyone around them is gone. Does it exist? Shen Chen said with a smile. They were just watching the excitement. Anyway, with such an expensive price, they could only treat it as a sight. He was dumbfounded as he listened to the increasingly outrageous prices. If it were this price, I guess I would have to rely on myself for the rest of my life, Shen Jian said with a sigh. Don't worry, if you can build the foundation by yourself, then of course it is best to build the foundation by yourself. If you can't, don't worry. The third brother is working hard to become an alchemist. She will provide you with the foundation building pill in the future. Shen Hong said with a smile. Then I will work hard to practice swordsmanship and become a very powerful person, so that I can take my third brother everywhere to collect medicine. Shen Jian is also very idealistic. That's good. Sword cultivators are very powerful swordsmen. This way you will become more powerful in the future. Follow me and learn from me when you get back. Shen Yun still quite agreed with him practicing swordsmanship. Even if his chaos swordsmanship is not suitable, there are still things in the space. There are other options. This matter will be put on the agenda when I return home. End of this chapter. The Age of Rebirth, the fake daughter relies on cultivation to become bigger and stronger. Author, Laughing Charm. Chapter 287. Chapter 287, 287, checked out. The chat between a few people did not delay the bidding, and the final price stopped at 980,000. This price made several people in the Shen family take a sharp breath. Who does this thing belong to? Third brother, please work hard quickly. I want to get rich. Shen Hong and Shen Jian grabbed Shen Hong's arms and said. Shen Chen on the side looked at the calm Shen Yun and made some guesses. After all, Shen Yun paid more attention to these two things than before, and she also sold one at the night market before. She must know that this thing is whose, but there are many people around at this moment, so it's hard to tell. He didn't remind his two silly brothers, he just watched what happened next. Since it was like this, today's auction was probably over. Congratulations to those who took the photos of the foundation establishment pill. Don't be discouraged if you didn't. We have something even more surprising next. Just when everyone thought that today's auction was about to end, Zhang Han stood. He spoke again above. There is something else. Is there anything better than these two elixirs for the finale? The people below were also confused, but they still sat down where they were. Why are there still things? This is not fun at all. After finishing the food, Xiao Banqi couldn't sit still. Come on, this should be the last one. Wait a moment, Chen Yun reassured. Okay then, Xiao Banqi is also a good child and will not make trouble unreasonably. To be honest, we wanted to keep this thing for our own use, but we really didn't know where to get the right price, so we put it up for auction. This way the provider won't suffer a loss. I hope everyone will support it. Zhang Han finished. He took a purse directly from his pocket and said, "I guess everyone is curious about what I got, right?" "Yes," the people below said cooperatively. "This is a must-have item for home travel. I believe everyone has heard of mustard seed space. This is a storage bag with 5 cubic meters in it. This has been verified by us, so you can take photos with confidence." Zhang Han introduced it directly to the people below. There was a buzzing sound from below, and everyone was surprised. This thing is not a disposable item. Having such a private space makes it safer for you to store something, even more reliable than a safe. The starting price was still 10,000, and it was finally bought by the person from Liangshan for 1.52 million. This price is not the top price at this time, but for the appearance of the storage bag, it is a sky-high price. Even if the auction is really over here, if you calculate the price, you will get more than 2 million from the auction money alone, excluding commissions. There are also several other Zhang families who plan to purchase them at the auction price. This will bring in money. The speed is indeed faster than going to work in a lifetime. Let's go. The people who were waiting to take pictures left here first, and Shen Yun also reminded the shocked people next to him that it was time to leave. "Yun Yun, did you create this mustard space?" Shen Hong gave Shen Chen the little jump ball in his arms, walked to Shen Yun and asked softly. Shen Yun looked at his incredulous look and nodded. "Ah!" Shen Hong couldn't help shouting. Everyone next to him looked over, and Shen Hong quickly covered his mouth. The price of more than 1 million really surprised him, and he was even more surprised when it was placed on Shen Yun. "Fourth brother, what's wrong with you?" Shen Jian, the only one who didn't know anything, asked in confusion. It's okay, let's leave quickly and go home." Shen Hong coughed lightly, cleaned up his expression, and said seriously. Just a few steps out of the auction house, a few people were stopped by someone. "Our boss, Zhang Han, invites you to come to the conference room to speak," the person said politely. "Then you can lead the way," Shen Yun said directly. The person opposite led him to a conference room. After walking a few steps, the door was opened wide, and Zhang Han was waiting inside. "Please sit down, it's not a good reception." Zhang Han was very polite, and he immediately came over when he saw a few people. "It's good, this is our first time to participate in an auction. It's really a great experience," Shen Yun said with a smile. "This is the money that has been prepared. All the expenses for this auction and the ones our family bought are all here. They will be deposited directly to the bank for you." Zhang Han handed over the bank book directly. Shen Yun Miang, to think they can do things so quickly. I took it and looked at it. The money for 5 foundation establishment pills, 2 beauty pills, and 3 storage bags totaled nearly 10 million, without deducting a penny of commission. "You're not counter-offering, you're not charging commission, you're just doing a loss-making business." Shen Yun looked at the amount and said with a smile. "This is not a loss-making deal, it's because I have made a master like you. I hope you will want to cooperate with us if you have any good things in the future," Zhang Han said directly without hiding it. "Say what you have to say." Shen Yun quite likes this method of cooperation. "In this case, you will deduct the commission this time, and the 2 beauty pills will be regarded as gifts from me," Shen Yun said, looking at the money. "Zhang Men would definitely not be willing to take advantage of you if he knew that I was taking advantage of you." Zhang Han refused with a smile. "In business, this is how business is done. If you don't charge commission, I won't be able to find you next time. As for the 2 beauty pills, just treat them as friends," Shen Yun said firmly. Zhang Han looked at Shen Yun's determined look and couldn't make a decision for a while. "Dong dong dong, brother, I'm in." There was a knock on the door outside. "Zhang Min, is it convenient?" Zhang Han asked Shen Yun for his opinion. Shen Yun nodded. "Brother, didn't I say you were over?" "Shen Yun, did you get the money?" Zhang Min was more concerned about this issue and asked this question as soon as he came in. "Yes, even if your brother doesn't charge a commission, I won't be able to bother you next time," Shen Yun said impatiently. "Oh, how can this be done?" Brother, can you stop it symbolically? You can't make people embarrassed, Jiang Min interrupted in the middle, laughing. She won't charge for this beauty pill, she plans to give it away directly. Jiang Han and Jiang Min explained the situation clearly. Jiang Min took a look and saw who had the two pills in his hands. Oh, Shen Yun and I are both friends. It doesn't matter if you give me something. Brother, if you feel bad about it, you can also give something to Shen Yun. We will often visit each other in the future, and we will be long-term friends. If you Shen Yun thought we didn't regard her as a friend after seeing her like this, Jiang Min said carelessly, but Jiang Han understood what Jiang Min meant. Okay, I'll shamelessly recognize you as friends, and we'll continue to cooperate in the future. Jiang Min didn't postpone it any longer. End of this chapter. The Age of Rebirth, the fake daughter relies on cultivation to become bigger and stronger. Author, Laughing Charm. Chapter 288. Chapter 288, 288, Luxurious. The money matter was handled very quickly. There is a bank just outside the hotel. With Shen Yun's insistence, the money was settled in a short time. I can accept this money, Shen Yun said to the two Zhang brothers with a smile. We are not polite, why are you being polite? This is what you deserve, Jiang Min said with a smile. Okay, I won't delay your affairs, I'll treat you to dinner when I have time, I'll go back today. Shen Yun said goodbye to the two of them with a smile. After the few people finished speaking politely, they separated directly at the door of the bank. Except for the little jumpers, the others next to them all feel a little confused. They guessed that the foundation establishment pill and the storage bag belonged to Shen Yun. How could they have imagined that there were so many more? Thinking about the string of zeros on the bank book I just saw, even if I didn't look at it myself, it was quite shocking. It was the first time in my life that I saw so much money. Let's go and treat you to dinner, we really have money now. Shen Yun shook the bank book in his hand. No, we're outside now. Let's find a place to remove the stone first. Chen Chen was still holding the stone he just photographed in his arms. The weight of a few dozen kilograms is not a problem for him, but it is really inconvenient to carry it. There's no need to find someone to cut it. Just let me handle it for you when you get back. Shen Yun took a look at the stone. It wasn't very big. He could just use Qingfeng to cut off the outer stone. Okay, let's find a hidden place to store things. Shen Chen took Shen Heng and the two of them and walked to the side. Shen Yun and the others waited here for a while, and then the two of them came back, holding their hands. The stones inside have been stored in the ring space. Shen Yun took a few people to find a roast duck restaurant. This was the first time Shen Jian ate outside after waking up, and it was also the first time Shen Chen and the others ate roast duck outside. After all, they used to come to Beijing to find their own place. Where can I find it? I don't have time to come over for dinner, and my money is tight, so I can't afford to be too extravagant when I go out. Today was a luxury, and it was also a luxury before going home. Shen Yun ordered 4 ducks directly. We've had a lot of luxury here. Third Ant and the others went back early and didn't have time to come over and eat. Shen Chen felt a little pity. It's okay. I'll have someone pack a few portions later and take them back to my family to try. It would be a lot of trouble for them to come to Beijing again, so why not pack a little later? Anyway, there is space and a storage ring, so they are not afraid. Something is broken. That's good. Several people suddenly became happy. Everyone who ate the meal was very satisfied. Although Shen Yun hadn't eaten for a long time, he still took a few bites. The ducks now live in the air with spiritual energy, so they are probably more delicious than before. Shen Yun, when she tasted it, she felt it tasted good. As for whether it was better, she had never tasted it before and had heard what the people next to her said. After the meal, I packed up 5 more, which should be enough for the family to try. A few people returned home. It was still dark before they saw 2 people standing at the door. Shen Yun had good eyesight, so he could see who it was from a distance and walked over quickly. Hu Yan, and Hu, why are you here? I have something to do today. Come in and sit down. Shen Yun quickly opened the door. I said I was going to come over a few days ago, but I was delayed by something, so I postponed it until today. I also forgot to say hello to you, so I came here so rashly. And Hu was still a little embarrassed, and she came to visit without saying hello, which was still a little bit. Excuse me. It's okay, it's okay. I've been at home these days. I just had something to do when I went out today. It's unfortunate, Shen Yun explained and directly invited people into the room. Shen Hong quickly brought water to the two of them. I just wanted to come here after I called you some time ago. I didn't know that something happened in the factory. A small hospital below responded and said that a patient's burn was not healed and became more serious after using our scald cream. We have been investigating this matter recently. After checking, I found out that we have few medicines and low prices. Many people took advantage of the difficulty in buying this medicine in remote areas and made counterfeit brands. It was also when this happened that I found out that their prices were higher than ours. Several times, but no effect at all. It really people off. The final result was that the ones purchased by the hospital are related to the owner of this factory. They stopped buying from our factory last year. It's not like they haven't sold anything this year. It's no use if the people make a fuss. This time, the child of a cultivator got burnt, and that's what caused the fuss. This man has really lost his conscience. We only charge a shipping fee and sell it to the public. Some people are not satisfied and want to make some money from this. When talking about this matter, and Hu felt a lot of emotion. At that time, their family's conditions were relatively good, and their children went to many big hospitals, but the folk remedies from small clinics were not spared. Thinking about the difficulty of seeking medical treatment, and the fact that burn scars have a great impact on people, they decided to do this good thing after receiving the peach blossom frost given by Shen Yun. Knowing that some people are greedy, their own if the product does not bring them profits, they will buy other counterfeit products. As for whether it is good for patients, this person does not care. Auntie, don't worry so much. Haven't everything been resolved? The bad guys have been punished. As for the burnt patients, you also sent someone to deal with them yourself. Hu Yan comforted her from the side. Hu Yan is right. Now that the matter has come to an end and there are no serious consequences, we will try our best to compensate. After all, people's hearts are unpredictable. There are so many people in the country, and you don't know who is the good guy and who is the bad guy. We just be good to yourself. Shen Yun also stood aside to comfort Aunt Hu. That's all I can do to comfort myself. Aunt Hu nodded. By the way, this is the account for more than a year. You haven't come back and the dividends have not been given to you. This is the account book. This is the dividend. I deposited it in the bank for you. Aunt Hu quickly took it out of her bag one by one. A thick pile of stuff. Shen Yun took a look and saw that the thick stack was full of ledgers, with a passbook placed on top. It doesn't have to be like this. Since we are cooperating, there must be mutual trust. What happened this year is also my fault. I didn't predict it in advance and just opened the door to the material. I didn't read the account books, and I'm not a professional. These things make my head spin. By the way, I have prepared a lot of neutralizer for you this time. When you go back, find someone to come over and take care of it. Chen Yun took the bank book directly and pushed the account book towards Aunt Hu. Don't say you don't read the account book. One code is the same. You trust me and I will do what I should do. This is a copy. Please take the time to read it. Since our cooperation will continue for a long time in the future, I will ask the accountant to sort it out for you to make sure you can understand it. Aunt Hu brought it here and has no intention of taking it back. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Age of Rebirth, the fake daughter relies on cultivation to become bigger and stronger. Author, Laughing Charm. Chapter 289. The two parties declined for a while, but seeing Andhu's unswerving look, Shen Yun still kept the account book. Andhu knew that Shen Yun had prepared a lot of neutralizers, and after talking to Shen Yun for a while, I called the driver directly to come over and pick up my stuff. Shen Yun quietly placed the neutralizer in the space in the room where Yang Kankan lived a few days ago, and loaded it into a small truck. Andhu couldn't help but smile from ear to ear. This is enough for a long time. Thank you for your hard work, Andhu said, holding Shen Yun's hand. It's okay, but my address will change in the future. I want to go back to my hometown to develop. Then you can go directly to my hometown to find me and I will write you an address, Shen Yun said, and took out the paper and wrote the address of his hometown. Okay, this place is a little closer to our factory. Whenever you, the boss, have time, go to the factory and have a look. We have been developing well this year, Andhu enthusiastically invited. Okay, when I get back, I will definitely find time to visit, Shen Yun responded directly. Then we won't stay here any longer. I want to send these things back as soon as possible. The factory's inventory is really running low, Andhu said goodbye to Shen Yun directly. Then let's go, Shen Yun. Hu Yan also said hello. Shen Yun saw that the driver in the other car was an ordinary person. Andhu and Hu Yan had a little bit of cultivation, but not very high. Then he looked at the neutralizer that exuded a faint aura on the car. Although it was not the same as the aura in the air. It's almost the same, but there's no guarantee that there will be no curious people who want to take some back to take a look. Although there are already supervisors, some places still can't be taken care of. Are you three going? Shen Yun couldn't help but ask. Yeah, we'll leave directly, Hu Yan replied directly. Well, I'll let someone go with you. We'll be going back in a few days. I don't feel comfortable walking at night with so many things, Shen Yun said directly. There should be no danger now, Hu Yan said hesitantly. There is no danger in the first place, but if someone knows that you have brought so many raw materials, it will not necessarily be the case. Several of my brothers have some strength. Let me see which of them goes with me. This is also my business. You have to be more careful, Shen Yun said with a smile. Okay, Andhu looked at the raw materials in a carriage. She didn't want to take any risks. After all, this was related to the fate of many people. Shen Yun turned around and looked at his brothers. Would any of you help me run? I'll go, it's okay if I stay here anyway, Shen Hong volunteered. The eyes of several other people looked at him instantly. That's right, it's okay anyway, just let Shen Hong follow. Shen Hong was a little embarrassed to be looked at, but looking at Hu Yan standing over there, she still looked directly at Shen Yun. Okay, fourth brother, I'll leave you with this matter. Protect Hu Yan and Andhu. Shen Yun didn't say anything. Since Shen Hong had this intention and Hu Yan didn't say no, he didn't mind offering something. Chance. A few people got in the car and drove away, and then the rest of the Shen family walked back into the house with a smile. Fourth brother now has a goal. Shen Hong, you should hurry up, otherwise, believe it or not, the whole family will start to rush you when you go home, Shen Chen reminded kindly on the side. Don't be anxious, don't be anxious. Anyway, I'll practice hard and let myself live a few more years. The fate is still behind me. I can't force it now. Shen Hong is very Buddhist and has no intention of being anxious at all. In the past, he still had to worry about Shen Jian's affairs. She had been anxious all day, but now Shen Jian is better, and Shen Hong's tightness is gone. Don't worry. As long as you can tolerate the nagging of the second aunt and grandma, it will be fine. As a person who has been here, Shen Chen understands this matter very clearly. In the past, when the other brothers in the family were young, he, as the eldest, was the first person to be urged to get married. Was no one to stop him at that time. His family was in the mountains, and there were many brothers and the conditions were not good, so the marriage was really a worry for his family. Now his family, if the conditions are better, it should be easier for the younger brothers below to find partners. It's okay, it's okay. We are cultivators now and we will live longer in the future. My family will definitely not be like this, Shen Jian said next to him. After all, he was not a few years younger, and he was afraid that his family would complain about it. Shen Yun felt uncomfortable because she was so eloquent. She hoped that her family would not talk about her. Shen Chen didn't know what Shen Yun was thinking. If he knew, he would definitely comfort her. After all, boys and girls are different. Especially if there is only one girl in the family, he would definitely not rush her. He would just drag his two younger brothers into his room. I went to the room and taught them some skills on finding a partner. Sister, brother, why don't you take me with you when they play? They all walked to the door, and were pushed by Shen Chen to follow Shen Yun's little jumper and asked in confusion. They are all adults. They are discussing some adult matters. Things that adults worry about are often boring. My sister will take you to play some games that children like. Shen Yun directly picked him up and walked towards his room. Shen Yun directly brought Xiao Benqi into the space to practice. This is an activity suitable for both large and small. The two people spent the whole night in the space. The next morning, Shen Chen found someone coming to his door. Who are you looking for? Shen Yun opened the door and asked. Hello, are you Ms. Shen Yun? Minister Yan asked me to pass this thing to you. The other party directly handed over the thing in his hand. Shen Yun glanced at it with his consciousness and took it directly. Does Minister Yan have anything else to say? No more. The other party shook his head. Okay, thank you. Do you want to come in and sit for a while? Shen Yun asked politely. The young man outside heard Shen Yun ask this and was a little panicked. No, thank you. After you finish reading, just give Minister Yan a reply. After saying that, he shook hands with Shen Yun and ran away as if running away. Shen Yun looked himself up and down. His expression was normal. He was not fierce or inappropriate. How could he run so fast like a tiger? But since everyone has gone far away, there is no need to call them back to ask. Shen Yun took the envelope and walked in. When he opened it, he found that the address of the school had been booked, and it was in a town not far from Baiyun village. A few days ago, Shen Yun gave a reply to the above, saying that it would be better for the school's address to be closer, but he didn't expect it to be so close. Shen Yun was quite satisfied. He put his things away and looked at the following information about the island survey. The approximate location has been determined, but there is still some key information missing. It is probably still under investigation. After reading it, Shen Yun folded a paper crane and replied with a sentence before turning back to the room. The age of rebirth, the fake daughter relies on cultivation to become bigger and stronger. Author, Laughing Charm. Chapter 290. Since the other party asked me to meet him at the beach in 5 days to deal with this matter, I would go there. It happened that I also wanted to see what the other party was like. But now we still have to deal with the stones that were auctioned yesterday, and then have someone notify the 3 apprentices that the person is leaving and cannot be pulled down. Shen Hong was asked to take out the stone he bought yesterday. Shen Yun took out the Qing Feng sword directly. It is difficult for an immortal to break an inch of jade. Shen Yun looked at it with his spiritual sense, but he really couldn't figure out what was going on inside. How to cut it now? Does anyone have any ideas? Shen Yun circled around the stone and asked the people next to him. That's right, several people in the Shen family shook their heads. No one had this experience. Only the little one volunteered to come out and made some gestures with his little hands. As a mythical beast, he still had some problems with certain things. Somewhat talented. Everyone has no idea. Although it is a bit funny to listen to a child, Xiao Benqi is not a naughty child. Just listen to him. Several brothers from the Shen family agreed unanimously. Chen Yun was not polite in his attack. As soon as they finished speaking, Chen Yun's sword flashed past. In the blink of an eye, several complete pieces of stone fell to the ground. A rectangular jade stone appeared in front of everyone's eyes. Blocks, transparent purple with a little green in the middle, a ray of sunlight shines down, and the beautiful person can't take his eyes away. This is a jade. The happiest person was Shen Chen. He listened to Xiao Banqi's advice when he took the stone. Although he had some money in his hand at the time, it did not belong to him alone. There were other things inside. Shen Hong and Xiao Banqi earned it together and spent more than 100 yuan, so they still felt a little stressed. Now seeing this result, he couldn't help but feel happy. "Brother, how much is this worth? Give each of the women in the family a piece of jewelry and sell the rest. Then, brother, you will be rich." Shen Jian couldn't help but think about this happy ending. Eyes widened. Shen Yun did not expect that it would look so ugly from the outside, but it would be so beautiful when it bloomed. After being cultivated and refined, the jadeite of this quality could indeed reach the level of refining a space ring. However, the quality of the jade and the severe cold last time were not enough. There is still a bit of a gap in what was delivered. "Brother, do you have any plans for this?" Shen Yun asked Shen Chen for his opinion while trimming the stones at the corners. "I really don't have any ideas, but I promised to buy your sister-in-law a ring, but it hasn't come true for so many years. I don't know if this jade can be made into a ring," Shen Chen said, a little embarrassed. "Of course. In this way, you think about it for each of the elders and juniors in the family. When the time comes, I will engrave the defensive formation, and the rest will be left to the fourth brother to refine and cultivate it, which will be used to refine the space ring in the future. Look like this, okay?" Chen Yun asked several people for their opinions. Okay, let's go out and have a look later. If we can't figure it out ourselves, let's see what others are selling." Shen Jian quickly came up with an idea. Okay, several people nodded immediately. When Xiao Bengqiao heard that he was about to go out, he immediately climbed into Shen Chen's arms and happily prepared to go out. A few people didn't eat breakfast, so they bought some on the road outside. Then they went to Jiang's house to inform them that they were leaving in the morning and asked them to pack up. Then they went to Chu's hometown to say something, and then they turned around and went to the newly built department store. There are a lot of gold jewelry in department stores now, but there are really not many kinds of jade jewelry. The most common ones are jade bracelets. However, a few people were still looking at it with great interest. After all, the department store has more than just this, there are many things. A few people first looked at a few simple gold jewelry styles, and then walked around again until everyone except Xiao Banqi had a full hand. Only then did they leave the mall with satisfaction. "This place is better. You can buy everything you want." Shen Chen was very satisfied with this place and planned to take his wife and mother over to visit it if he had the opportunity in the future. "The place is great, but the money is too heavy," Shen Hong said with emotion. "A few people spent thousands of dollars on these things. This was something that I didn't even dare to think about before. It used to feel like they could spend a lifetime in the mountains with just 1 yuan. Who knew I would spend it all in one day today? You have to spend the money you make. Third brother, you can refine elixirs more often so that we won't be short of money," Shen Yun said with a smile. "Okay, I will definitely work hard," Shen Hong nodded. The three of them went home from here. They still had a lot of things to pack and take with them. The most difficult thing was to take away all the spiritual plants planted in the yard. This was the most time-consuming. Shen Yun directly used earth magic to get out all the spiritual plants, but he still had to pack them up and put them into the space. Several people were squatting in the yard and busy. There was a knock on the door again. "Who is it? There have been quite a few people these past 2 days," Shen Chen muttered as he walked towards the door. Shen Yun had already seen who was coming outside. Placing the spiritual plant in his hand carefully aside, Shen Yun directly cleaned the soil on his hand. Third brother, please clean up, my former grandfather is here, he goes to the Three Treasures Hall for no reason, he may have something to do when he comes over, please be careful, Shen Yun reminded him and walked outside. Old man, who are you looking for? Shen Hung had already opened the door and saw the people outside. I'm looking for Yun Yun, is she there? The old man outside the door asked politely. I'm here. Why do you keep asking me for anything? Shen Yun came over and said directly. Oh, Yun Yun, you didn't invite Grandpa to come in and sit down, and you didn't go over to see Grandpa for such a long time in the capital. You are so cruel, Ji Chang said kindly, as if he was blaming his junior for not coming back for a long time. Please come in. Shen Yun looked at Shen Chen, who was a little confused next to him, and said directly to Ji Chang. Shen Chen next to him also realized that even if Yun Yun had a bad life in the Ji family, he was still an elder and had to do what he should do. Please come in. He also followed the invitation. Ji Chang nodded towards Shen Chen. You are Yun Yun's brother, right? He looks really talented. Where do you work now? Ji Chang asked politely as he walked. Yun Yun used to be in our house, and she and Ji Shen were the only ones in the house. She is younger, and her other brothers and sisters are older, good at studies, and go out to school and work more, so they spend less time with her. It is better to stay at your house, and the brothers will accompany her. Shen Chen originally wanted to answer what kind of job he did, but after listening to Ji Chang's words, even if he was not very sensitive to this matter, it sounded a bit uncomfortable. This meant that his brothers were incompetent and were all at home idle.